Shalom, giving all praise unto Yahweh, Shema Shabbat, Shema Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm the brother Ibadia coming out here to give you this truth through the grace and mercy of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Kodash. And this is going to be a video looking in on the food insecurity that we see coming into the European zone, and the struggles that's going to be experienced as a result of that. Let me see if I could just quickly put that on flight mode. Flight mode, do not disturb. Okay, let's get back into it. So, as a result of these energy prices going through the roof, and what we could do is we can go here in the Google and type in, Salakia, rising energy prices, right? Rising energy prices, energy costs. And we can see the UK's bills to rise. And this was what was predicted a month ago. They said it was going to rise up about 80%. UK energy bills to rise by another 50%. That was from February. And of course, there was measures that were put in place by the so-called leaders of Britain to mitigate the cost of the so-called rising of living onto the people. What's important to remember when you see these, so here it is, the problem so-called, the problem has so-called been rectified for the layman, but the big businesses that you have out here, they are not necessarily capped. The energy costs that they have are not necessarily capped. And certainly the measures that we see here within Britain, wherewith they're going to give you like 400 odd pound or whatever discount, that doesn't even go into your pocket. Going to show you that it's all a scam. Because here it is, they're saying they're going to send you 400 odd quid from the government, but that's going to go straight to the corporations, right? It's going to go straight into the corporation's pocket, and it's going to be a so-called discount to you. And what do we see? We seen Centrica, which is a major corporation and distributor of gas here within the UK, which I'm saying a lot of points, but it's necessary to make these points to understand what's happening. We see Centrica had its most profitable year, and it certainly isn't sharing the spoils with the layman, because here it is, they said, okay, you got so-called fuel shortages, right? But still, because it's a free market, they can basically charge whatever they want. They're not going to charge you wholesale and then the percentage. They're going to charge you whatever they want. So what happens is they take a major profit. Now, why is that important to understand? Well, the discount that you're getting, this £400 discount that you're supposedly getting on your bills here within the UK is going to go straight to those corporations, which kind of sounds like the bank government payouts that you had within 2008. Kind of sounds like that. I find that very interesting. Let's move on now. Let's speak about the Eurozone. Major food corporations within the Eurozone, France, Germany, which the one that we're going to be looking at in a second is Germany. Now, you got major corporations out there within Germany that they don't have their energy capped. They're seeing the increase in prices, and that's a direct knock-on onto their ability to produce food. Now, what we have to understand on top of that is there was a cost, right? And a cost increase in fertilizer that happened during the planting season. Okay, you got through the so-called planting season. Now here it is, it's the reaping season. Okay, the harvest, so-called, right? And you got it to where during the so-called harvest, or when you're supposed to be packing and producing and freezing and storing, during that period of time, you simply don't have enough energy for it to be economically viable to make a profit. This is what we're seeing within Germany right now. So let's get that. Right? Germany, food shortages. And this is what they're warning of. Okay? This is what they're warning you about. Now, we'll see the severity and the intensity of how this thing is going to pop off But I find it very funny. The brother pointed this out. One of the brother of war in our camp. He had pointed. Check out his channel, which is GMS Children of the Light 3. He had made a mention of a particular point that he'd noticed, and he said that to another brother, and another brother said it to another brother. It's funny how that you got these so-called football World Cup at the same time when the food industry is falling apart. That's something that he mentioned. GMS Children of the Light 3. Go subscribe to the brother's channel. So let's take a look at this. It says, and the original article, I believe it was on RT. German frozen and fresh food producers. Germany is a major player when it comes to industry. If you got warnings coming from Germany, you better believe the smaller countries like Italy, France, not France necessarily, but Italy, Spain, which they got particular produce that they push out there. They're going to struggle, man. They're going to struggle. Now, we had shortages this year of rapeseed oil, and vegetable oil. And the shelves were empty for a certain amount of time. And then things kind of sorted itself out. Now, we're going to see how intense it is. Now, the scripture does speak about a great famine. Certainly feels like this is the times that we're living in right now. We'll see how it plays out, but it certainly feels like, and we hope it is, because, man, I don't want to be going through this, the things that we be going through, right? The crazy situations that we go through in this truth. And we know after the suffering is going to be the blessing. So it's better for us to go through the suffering now. Quick time, boom. The scripture talks about how those days are going to be shortened, lest there be no flesh left to save. And then we get into a state of living good, because we ain't living good right now. I mean, you might have little trinkets and little blessings that you have, but you move into a nice neighborhood, it's like the Most High puts you next to the worst neighbors. You look researching, you look for the most reliable car, and it's like, you got the one that's slightly off the bunch. That's how it works out here for the men of the Lord. Nothing really works out like that. It don't really ever work out like that. I mean, that's really like a beautiful thing, because even if you didn't want to, you still get forced. And this is how faith and these curses that we be going through, they're really a blessing, right? When we go through these particular things, it's really a blessing, because it forces you to be in a pilgrim mindset. You don't want to be attached to this society, man. The scripture says, arise ye, depart, for this is not your rest, and it shall destroy you even with a sword of destruction. So we don't really want to be too comfortable within this society. Yeah, you're going to have a little cool blessing here and there. I mean, we go through the hell. The Most High is going to give us a little blessing here and there too to keep us going. But we don't want to be overindulgent in the flesh, because the love of this world, man, many men have been destroyed for the love of this world. Better to just aim to be content. And that's it, man. So going back onto this article, we see Germany's frozen and fresh food supplier producers, Salakia, warn that rising energy costs may soon force them to stop operations. According to Ty, well, it's like, yo, bro. Let's read that again. Germany's frozen and fresh food producers warned that the rising energy prices may force them to stop operation. Now, you telling me that I'm supposed to send £2 out there to the Ukraine, okay, stop the big bad Vlad, and that's supposed to be the good thing. No. This was all a play from the beginning, man. Right? This was all a play from the beginning. They sensationalized the Ukraine thing, and they're toppling over. Here it is, you had the global supply chain toppled over 2 years ago, and it's kind of like just like coughing over. Like you see a car and it's misfiring, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, right? Because you don't change the spark plugs. This is what this global supply chain is like right now. It's like a car that's got bad spark plugs, and you don't know when it's gonna give up. You don't know when the engine's gonna just not turn on. And this is where we are right now with this global supply chain. And it looks like, well, it doesn't look like, this is what they're doing. This is all part of the plan. This is all part of the grand destruction of the fabric of the society. Didn't they say after the Queen Lizzie, when she died, they said, look, it's time for this signifies the time for new change. This is what's happening out here, man. This is what we're gonna be experiencing, man. And part of major part of what they want to reduce out here is you people. The main way to reduce you people, the main way to reduce you people, the main way to reduce you people is just to cut off your food supply. What you gonna eat? What you gonna eat? If the objective is to, and they're gonna say, look, the C-19 thing had people dropping dead. Okay, now they're gonna have just like no food. Okay, and when you look at the thing, from a logical perspective, it's like, yo, what's the US and the UK got to do with the Ukraine thing? That's Russia's thing. Didn't Britain invade Iraq and Russia didn't get involved in that? Well, let the UK do their own thing if you're so-called trying to protect your sovereign interests. It's all a big joke, man. And Bojo goes there within the office. He used to be in office, right? And he was like, we have to keep up the fight against Russia. We have to keep up the fight against Russia. It's like, yo, bruv, you're trying to tell me the gas price has gone up 120% and we got to keep up the fight against Russia. No, Russia's won, right? But that was always the plan, okay? That was always the plan. And that was the plan to destroy, everything, man. Small business, big business, because you didn't think about energy. What business can last without energy? There are significant supply gaps in daily food supply for people in Germany. The situation is more than serious. An open letter for the industry said to RT. Companies now fear that the production lines will soon come to a standstill and that refrigerated logistics centers for food distributions will be closed. So where you going to get your food? Some are even preparing for a possible insolvency, meaning to say it's not financially viable to get food to produce food. Now, think about how crazy that is. Think about China like 2 years ago. That was like super duper conspiracy theories. Now it's like, yo, what are we going to do for food? Okay. The food industry is currently experiencing the worst crisis since the end of the Second World War. It's a minute to 12. Act now, otherwise the refrigerators and freezers of the German population will soon be empty, the letter urges. Wow. Germany, along with the broader EU, is facing a sharp rise in energy prices and a record inflation surge amid intensifying anti-Russia sanctions and policies of abandoning Russian fuel, which it's all part of the plan. Here it is, they're gonna say, look, let's fight the big bad Vlad. But also too, by fighting the big bad Vlad, you ain't gonna eat, by the way. Us, at least we're gonna eat. But the fucking peons, they're gonna die, man. Hey, you gotta hand it to Esau, man. He gave you a good one, man. He really did. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna say all praise unto Yahweh, Shimi Al-Shai, Bashim, Kor HaKodesh. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, and honest you brothers that be pushing the truth in sincerity. Shalom.